PWM yet. We're not doing it for splitting the water. The reason for that is that technology, while it is a viable technology, it is still experimental, the resonance drive system. So for something that's going out to the consumer, we need to stick with something that's proven, that's reliable, that's repeatable, not something that's so cutting edge that it's finicky. And the resonance drive is that, it's finicky. It has to be accurate. The problem with this design, it's a molded system. It's a good cell, but plate spacing in a molded cell, ask Ed here, you're not going to get the accuracy on the plate spacing that's required for a resonance drive system. Resonance drive requires absolutely flat, absolutely parallel plates. It's very hard to do with a molded system, I'm telling you. I mean, look at what Ed's doing here with these 100-cell boxes. You know, he puts a lot of work, you know, days worth of work into each box he makes, because he has to machine each cell slot precisely, the distance between them. Because yeah, if your plates aren't flat enough, even that, you end up like Johan in South Africa. When he hit resonance, he only had 80% of his cells of his 100-cell box resonating, because the plates were warped enough still that the cell on each side of that warped plate won't resonate, because it's standing waves, scalar standing waves, and it's absolutely critical on spacing. I didn't really come here to give a lecture on resonance drive. People can look up the information on the resonance drive systems, but this is not designed for that. He's offered to make me a 100-cell box to test, to try it with the resonance drive, and when I have time I will, but I'm trying to, not just this company, my eggs aren't all in one basket. This guy's, you know, promised to put a product out at an affordable price, so I'm working with him on it. But I'm also working with other manufacturers across the country that are bringing out products that I'm trying to get out so that people have something they can buy that's affordable. I've been offered a lot of money to sign deals with companies where they get sole, you know, as a sole use of the technology, and I won't do that, obviously. Exactly. No. If they want to do something like this and work with me, I'll work with them. If they don't want to do that, and they don't want it to be pretty much open source. Now, this design is, by the way, is patented. He did patent it. He did a provisional patent, and the controller is also getting a provisional patent. The idea of the provisional patent, it gives him time to recover his investment. He doesn't intend to follow up with a regular patent afterwards, which means when that provisional patent expires after 1 year, it becomes public domain. And I agreed to that. I'm allowing him his year to make his money back before this technology goes into the public domain. And there is some proprietary technologies involved in how the water is handled going through the cell to keep the leakage currents down and to prevent the stripping of anions and cations and causing the foaming. How's it mounted in the vehicle?
How does it inject the hydroxy gas?
Oh, that's done prior to the air filter. The further upstream, the better. The air filter actually helps blend the mix. What happens when you inject further downstream, closer to the intake of the engine, is the gas ends up coming into the intake stratified. So you end up with some cylinders that get more hydroxy gas than others. That's not good for the, not good at all, because you want all of your cylinders to be combusting with the same efficiency. You don't, some cylinders running rich and some running lean. You want to be as far away from the intake as possible, from the engine, so that it gets a chance to mix very well and blend. The other issue is when you have stratified charge, you have pockets of gas that have a lower combustibility and pockets of gas with higher combustibility. And when it's blended, you don't have that issue. Typically, you're not able to be ignited by waste spark with a booster system. It actually goes below the flammability limit of hydrogen. So you don't have to worry about it backfiring, for instance. But if you have your charge being stratified, one cylinder, for instance, is getting more gas, then that cylinder has a possibility of backfiring and igniting back into your intake manifold because of the stratified charge. It'll follow that stratified charge back. If you have a pressure system, I was trying to tell people, pressure system, you hit 15 psi with this orthohydrogen, it'll decay into parahydrogen, release an electron. Well, all those electrons being released at the same time, it makes a spark, and then it ignites the gas, auto ignition. So that's why you keep your pressure below 15 psi.
The maximum liters per whatever gallons that increase the efficiency of the gas? Is there a maximum?
Every engine's different. It depends on compression ratio, the type of head design. That's actually very important, the head design of the engine, which is a big factor on the actually engine efficiency. If I put this gas into an engine that has a wedge head design and low compression ratio, it's going to have less of an effect than if I put it into an engine with a higher compression design and a hemispherical combustion chamber. The average automobile, according to the Department of Energy, 17 to 19% efficient. The engine that's used in the like the Yaris auto cycle, but it's a Hemi engine. It has a typical combustion efficiency between 25 to 30%. The engine, and the Prius that I drive has what's called an Atkinson-Miller cycle, and it's actually 35 to 40% efficient. We measured the efficiency at 38%. And that's just engine design. When I put this hydroxy gas in that engine, I'm actually getting about a 20 to or 40 to 50%, 40 to 50% improvement in miles per gallon, where the average car typically gets 20 to 25% increase.
Every cell to every car?
What's that?
You have to tune the cell to every car?
Yes. Yes, the controller has to be tuned to the car. That's where you set your idle flow rate, your wide open throttle flow rate, and then your throttle position sensor takes it between from there to there, you know. And you can run it in manual mode too, because every controller I've programmed is